A queen's desperate plea, a murdered prince, and the world's first written peace. 17 years of war, thousands dead, and yet peace was possible. But the letter was only the beginning. Dust choked the air, chariots thundered forward, and the river ran red. Ramesses, Hattusili, Supilululiama, Amoru, Mitanni. From the dust of Kadesh rose the first promise of peace, carved not in stone, but in the hearts of empires. The first written treaty in human history, the Peace Treaty of Kadesh. The Peace Treaty of Kadesh concluded between the Egyptian Pharaoh Ramses II and the Hittite King Hattusili III in the early 12th century BCE, is recognized as the earliest known written agreement in human history. Its significance for world civilization is impossible to overstate. My husband is dead. I have no son. They say you have many sons. If you give me one of them, he will become my husband. I do not wish to marry a servant. I am afraid. These were the words of a letter written more than 3,000 years ago, attributed either to the legendary Nefertiti or to her daughter Ankhesenamun. But to understand this remarkable story, we must go back to its origins. The Battle of Kadesh and the road to conflict. The Battle of Kadesh took place in 1296 BCE, and skirmishes and minor wars dragged on for 17 years, until 1280 or possibly 1278 BCE, when a peace treaty was finally signed. This war was fought between the two most powerful states of the Late Bronze Age, the Hittite Empire and ancient Egypt. In the second millennium BCE, the Hittites dominated Anatolia, Babylonia and Assyria ruled Mesopotamia, and Egypt was governed by a succession of ancient dynasties. The most intense struggles arose over the control of Syria and Lebanon. The Hittites before the war. When the Hittite king Supilululiuma ascended the throne, Egypt was the strongest power in the region. Wishing to avoid direct confrontation, he focused first on conquering Mitanni, strengthening his empire's position. Egypt before the war. At the same time, Pharaoh Akhenaten, Amenhotep IV, was absorbed in a radical religious reform, replacing Egypt's traditional polytheism with the worship of a single god, Aten. This provoked fierce resistance from the priesthood of Amun, and in the end, Akhenaten was poisoned. Akhenaten's family is legendary. His wife was the famous Nefertiti. His son, Tutankhamun, became pharaoh at the age of 8 and died at 18, ending the dynasty. And his daughter, Ankhesenamun, would later play a mysterious role in this story. After the dynasty's fall, Amarna was destroyed, and the Aten cult was erased from Egypt. The mysterious letter. After Akhenaten's death, a letter reached Supilululiuma from Dakhmessu, the Egyptian queen. My husband is dead. I have no son. They say you have many sons. If you give me one of them, he will become my husband. I do not wish to marry a servant. I am afraid. Historians debate whether the author was Nefertiti or Ankhesenamun, who feared the powerful General Horemheb, a fear that proved justified, as he would later destroy Akhenaten's family entirely. Supilululiuma, suspicious of the request, sent an envoy to confirm the story. The envoy returned with a second letter. Why did you doubt me? If I had a son, would I stoop to ask another country for a husband? I have written to no one but you. They say you have many sons. Send me one to be my husband and the king of Egypt. The Hittite king sent his son Zenanza to Egypt, But on the way, he was murdered by Egyptian officials. Enraged, Suppiluliuma launched a punitive campaign, plundering Egyptian territory. March to war. After these events, the Hittites under Mursili II and Mu'tali expanded their control as far as northern Lebanon and Damascus, alarming Egypt. In Egypt, after a period of turmoil, Seti I rose to the throne, followed by his son, Ramses II. Who was Ramses II? He is the same pharaoh who, according to the Bible, pursued the Hebrews during the Exodus. In Islamic tradition, he is the pharaoh who drowned in the Red Sea while chasing Musa, Moses. Ramses II ruled from 1279 to 1213 BCE and is considered one of the greatest pharaohs in Egyptian history. The Battle of Kadesh, 1296 BCE. King Mu'tali of the Hittites and Ramses II of Egypt marched their armies to meet near the city of Kadesh. Hittite forces, 17,000 soldiers, 8,000 in the vanguard, 9,000 in the rear, and 4,500 war chariots, the tanks of the ancient world. Egyptian forces about 20,000 infantry and 2,000 chariots, divided into 4 corps: Amun, the main force, Ra, Ta, and Set. Unlike Akhenaten, Ramses II was deeply devoted to Egypt's traditional gods. The course of battle. Misled by false intelligence, Ramses II found himself in a trap. His leading corps, Amun, was suddenly surrounded by the Hittite army. The Hittites launched a fierce assault, inflicting heavy losses on the Egyptians. Egyptian records claim a great victory, but historians disagree. The Hittites retained control over the region of Amurru. Fighting continued for another 16 to 18 years. The Peace Treaty of Kadesh, 1280 to 1278 BCE. The final truce was prompted by a common threat, the rise of Assyria, which had conquered Mitanni. By this time, the Hittites had seen several changes of rulers, from Orhi-Teshub to Hattusili III. Ramses II still held the Egyptian throne. The treaty was originally inscribed on 2 silver tablets, now lost. Copies on clay tablets were found in the ruins of Hattusa, the Hittite capital, and are now displayed in the Istanbul Archaeological Museum. Key terms of the treaty: division of spheres of influence. Northern Syria remained under Hittite control. Mutual assistance. Each side pledged support against foreign enemies. Dynastic marriage. Hattusili's daughter was given in marriage to Ramses II. Historical significance. The first written treaty, a true milestone of international law. 2 versions survive: the Egyptian, found in Hattusa, and the Hittite, carved on the walls of the Temple of Karnak. After the war, relations became friendly. The rulers addressed each other as brothers, and their queens exchanged letters as sisters. A replica of the treaty is displayed today at the United Nations headquarters in New York, a lasting symbol of peace. After the peace agreement, Ramses II turned to monumental construction. Under his reign rose the temples of Abu Simbel, the Luxor complex, and many other wonders of the ancient world. The Treaty of Kadesh is not merely an ancient artifact. It is proof that even sworn enemies can find a path to peace. Its legacy still shapes our understanding of diplomacy and international relations today.